All right, here we are again, Chris. It's been a while since we've connected to talk about some big league baseball, but um, we're about 115 games into the season, so
Oh
glad we
yeah,
could connect and
glad
kind
glad
of
to be
talk things
back.
out. So,
Glad to be back. It's been a
absolutely.
rough month for me, so we're good though.
Yeah, working a lot, right?
Yeah, I've been working a shit ton. I just got done
Yeah,
working
tough. We all,
28 hours in the past 2 days. So yeah,
yeah, that's
I don't
insane,
know
man.
how I'm doing this, but let's do it.
Sometimes you're just on that crack of being up so much that you just like, you're gonna crash hard, but like
Oh
for
yeah,
now you're good.
I got all
Yeah,
tomorrow to
that's cool.
sleep. So
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. Yeah, I definitely wanted to see where the teams are at so far in the season, and good to have another voice here. So when I make a mistake or if I'm talking about some shit that's not like true, I can be corrected by another human being who's just like, bro, that's the wrong perspective. So
yeah, well, you
um,
generally wrong. You said I was a mid team. I saw
yeah, no, I
that.
said I said you beat the bad teams, but how do you do against the good teams? And I actually didn't actually look at your record, so I just made that shit up. But I stand by it until you prove me wrong in the playoffs.
Gotcha.
So, anyways, why don't we break down these teams? We're not going to do a super long podcast tonight, but we're just going to look at where the standings are right now as we go to the trade deadline and see where everybody's at and how their season's gone so far. And let's start off in our own division here, the Ruby division, because why not? You know, we're doing the podcast, we can do what we want.
Yeah.
And because Ice Conference is not as good as the Fire Conference because we won a lot of championships. Everybody knows we're the best. And then, of course, you have the best record in the Fire Conference. So we can start with your team, the
What?
Spokane Sasquatches.
Huh. Wow. Let's take a look at my team.
Yeah, you're having a pretty nice season so
Yeah,
far.
very young team is what I have. I got a lot of young players. Corey Nelson, Cameron Phillips, Scott Kinney, very young. They're doing very well too. Rookies and Mike Marino doing their thing,
Yeah,
leading off with a
your,
284.
your team's somewhat young. I mean, a couple of these guys are 28, so they're starting to get up to that their
Yeah,
prime, right? 28, 29. But you've got three guys in their 30s in your lineup, so it's a mix. But your pitchers are really young.
yeah. My pitching staff
Joey
is
Johnson's
really
kind
young.
of an older guy, but
Yeah,
everybody else.
he's the old guy that I paid for in free agency, but
Yeah.
he's holding it down this year. So I
Yeah,
got
looking at your team in terms of stat rankings, we're what, like 75% of the way through the season now, pretty much.
yep.
And you're top three in almost every offensive category except for home runs. Not a powerful team, but you get on base a ton, you hit for average, score a lot of runs, steal a lot of bases. Your base running is kind of shitty, so I don't know. I'm not sure how that stat is calculated
I
and
don't
how you can correct that, but I'm sure there's some adjustment you might be able to make to
must be. Yeah.
improve that. Um,
Can
and then
just take a look. Look
your
at
pitching's
that.
super good.
It's not bad. I like it.
I mean, you have the best starters ERA and the best bullpen ERA.
Yeah,
So
yeah. It's very impressive. I'm glad to see it. Good to see.
yeah,
You like to see it.
yeah. All your starters are double-digit wins except for Mike Ammons, but I mean, again, he's your five starters, 8 and 9.
Yeah,
Kenny and Nelson are dominant 3, 4 starters. You know.
yeah. Kenny, yeah. It's tough to put him in a rotation. I kind of had to move things around due to I've noticed that the pitchers are gassed. Like I look at every sim and I'm like, wow, it's like is the next guy going to be ready at the next go? I might think about going to a 6 man rotation. So it's not a
Yeah,
bad thought.
I
Getting the
like how
guys
Joey
aggressive.
Johnson's worked out for you too. He's gotten better and better every single year for you.
Yeah, just took a while to
If
get
you
took
look
act
in,
to be a it takes some acclimating to be a Sasquatch, I guess. So
hey, fair enough, right?
yeah,
I mean, he had a brief stop with Kingston, didn't really pitch that well there through 11 games, and then you picked him up, and he's just improved year in and year out. So,
yeah,
and that's it's funny because right, the offense has been more prolific the last 2 seasons, but he's gotten better and better through that.
yeah. I want to say my offense is better this year than it was last year. I think my I made it to the playoffs last year because of my pitching staff.
Yeah,
I had
yeah.
Aguilar
I
last
mean,
year and I
Cameron.
lost him. So
Cameron Phillips as a rookie, his control hasn't looked really good this year. He's walked a lot of guys, but I mean, he's been pretty impressive
I started
for a rookie
him.
at 2.78 ERA.
I started him in the bullpen throughout the season. I lost a starting pitcher, and he was a starting pitcher in the minors. So I moved him up to starting
Yeah,
position. So just to get
it
him
makes
going,
sense. He's
and
got 5 pitches.
and he's doing well. So I just wanted to get him started in the big league in the bullpen, and if he did well in the bullpen, he was gonna get a starting position. So due to injury,
Yeah,
he got in there faster than I thought he would. So and he's doing well, and so I'll keep rolling with it.
yeah, absolutely. And this might be the year for. I haven't looked at candidates, but this might be the year for Corey Nelson to be a pitcher of the year candidate. Definitely having a really nice season. I mean, just as nice as maybe Johnson. Johnson's having just nice. All your pitchers having really nice seasons. I mean, they're all up there, and they're all going to be like
Yeah,
I think
Corey
some of the top
Nelson has
pitchers in the
been
league
one
when
of
all
those
is said and
pitchers
done.
too. I started in I think 2005 is his rookie year, and he had a 3.8 WAR there, and he keeps going up. So I think he's
Yeah,
going. He's looks like he's having kind of a might have a just average season like he usually does, but I'll take it for a guy that's 25 years old and uh, middle of the lineup. I'll definitely take that. He might be the number one guy, him or Cameron Phillips. Scott Kinney
yeah,
also. I mean, they got the same win. He's kind of having a little down year this year, but I mean,
not even.
not
Yeah,
even really. He's still having a great.
I mean he's pitching better than last season. I'd say
Yeah, I haven't really, I've been
he's
busy, so I've been
it's all coming
paying
together.
attention to
It's all
my
coming
team.
together for your team this year.
I know
Yeah.
it is
I
like
think the only thing we talked a little bit, before we got on the podcast together, but the only thing you're missing, I think, is a power hitter.
yeah,
Nobody with 20 home runs in this team. But again, if you're getting on base and doing that, maybe it's just not your identity, and that might be okay, right? So
yeah. We'll see what happens. Maybe if somebody's got a big power hitter that wants to trade, I'm
that's
open
right. This is the
ears.
trade deadline podcast, so we can kind of analyze the team and say what their need might be, and that might be your need and might not. We'll see how that goes. Yeah. Want to look at the next team?
Yes, yeah, enough of me.
Look at the Seals, because this is really a two-man divisional race right now. Everybody
Yes,
else is pretty much out of it. Not just out of the race for the top two seeds in the division, which are the playoff seeds, but pretty much out of playoff contention. Phoenix is 10 games back. I guess they can make a run at it. And Brendan's been known to be pretty aggressive and try to do that kind of thing, but I don't think he's realistically going to make the playoffs this year. So yeah, let's look at San Diego and Alex's team. This is kind of what we projected you two to be, just fighting at the top here, and that's what's happened. And then we've got 5 teams that are trying to figure it out. I love that.
yeah, we were gonna
What do
fight it out. I can't believe I'm this high up on him right now. 6 games. There was a point I was 8-9. I did have a little
you,
slump in July, so uh, but it looks like I
six
pulled back away
games?
6 games. So I mean,
6 games is a nice lead, but that can disappear quickly.
it can disappear. Like the Seals can win games constantly. We've seen it happen before. So
Yeah. At the end of the day, we're about to get back into divisional play, and you're going to start beating up on the bottom 5 teams here. Both of you are. So it's really about who can just kind of
yeah,
beat the teams they're supposed to at the end. And then you're going to have 6 head-to-head matchups. So those will be
exciting,
huge games for you too. Yeah,
exciting.
I love how we ended in divisional play. It's great, right?
Yeah, that is great. Hopefully, it
Um,
ends on us fighting for the duel. At the end. No, I would like to have
yeah.
it handily by then, but we'll see.
So looking at the Seals team, not really a big surprise as to who the big slugger in the middle of the lineup is. Although if you kind of look at his lineup here, he's got 4 guys already. We're basically on pace for close to 100 RBIs between Bill Bryce, Jim Green, Clark Heine, and
Wow.
Caleb Dumleave.
Well, he's number one in the league in runs scored, batting average, just everywhere, batting offensively.
He is, and he's
Offensively,
just
he's
like you
clicking.
in a sense. I mean, home runs isn't his. He's not just relying on the long ball, just like you. Like he's seventh, which is average,
But he's got two
7 out of 14.
guys. He's got two guys over 20 and one guy, or two guys about to crest 20. And that's where he's got the difference on me.
For sure, yeah, he's got some power. He just doesn't have the top power in the league in terms of up and down. It's probably a lot of that's in the Topaz division, I'm gonna guess, but and a lot of it just got traded out, I think, in a big trade that we're gonna talk about in a second. But yeah, Jim Green, 28 home runs, having another great season. He's kind of dipped in terms of where he was at his peak, right? Because I think he was at 80-80. He's taken a death hit, hasn't he? You want to
Who
click in and
who's
see
that? Jim Green?
Jim Green? Yeah. So yeah, I mean, he's still a really good player, but he's definitely starting to dev in the other direction at this point.
Having
Still
a good
putting up six
season
WAR
this
this
year.
season. Yeah. Yep. So he's still really good. I think he's locked up for like 30 million a year for 2 more years though. So let's hope he just stays at his peak here. He's only 34 years old, so he should have a couple more good seasons in him, right?
Yeah.
And then Clark Heine, that guy's playing pretty well this year, 21 homers. Not sure I've looked at this guy before. Looks really good. Fourth round draft pick in 2002, so that's a nice hit for the Seals in terms of finding some talent there a little later in the draft. This guy's putting up 5.5 WAR pace this season.
Nice. Very nice.
Yep.
Meet the team. Go to meet the team. You can see the top players. Bill Bryce. Another star for him.
Yeah, does he have Bryce playing shortstop? He's got Bryce at shortstop. He's actually playing a pretty good shortstop for him right now.
Those his fielding stats.
Second ranked shortstop in the league. So that was the trade with Fort Collins a couple seasons ago, and a definite superstar at the position. So yeah, I mean his lineup's been really, really good. The problem with the Seals this year has been the pitching, right?
Pitching. Let's take a look at that pitching. Craig Robinette.
Yeah, man, what a mystery Craig Robinette is. He's taken a huge dev hit. So he was a 70 of 80 overall, and he's a 55 of 65 now. So basically lost 15 points in his rating if you look at his scouting. Um, and he's having a really bad season, so that might not be a fluke. I don't really know what happened, especially for a guy that just came off back-to-back Pitcher of the Year awards. Like that's pretty crazy for a 27-year-old to just fall off like that. I think, but hey, maybe not. Like if I think back on like Barry Zito, who knows like when that guy fell off in like the major leagues or like that kind of pitcher. Maybe he just pitched a lot. I mean, if you look at this guy, Craig Robinette pitched 240 plus innings 3 straight seasons, and he was still developing. So
With
maybe that
leading the league in
fucked him up.
strikeouts as well.
Yeah, yeah. And he's
It's
still
like
striking out quite a few guys. 8.79, 8.7 Ks per nine. But I'm just wondering if like a guy who wasn't fully developed, if you're throwing him 240 plus innings a year, that fucked his development up. And I'm just straight up guessing because I have no fucking clue. I'm just asking the question. Just asking the question. Meanwhile, Joe Butts on pace for 500 innings. No, I'm just kidding. Joe Butts has pitched really well here in his sophomore year, basically
yeah, he's
replicating what he did
killing
last
it.
year and maybe even doing even better if you look at his numbers
Yeah, he's
actually.
doing better than Robinette this year.
Doing yeah better than he did than Butts did last year too, and he had a nice season last season. And this team, so I mean, again, yeah, but pitching is the weakness because after that, I mean, Kevin McLaughlin has not been good at all. Cowles has been average.
He's a
Snyder
guy
has
to
not been
look
very
out
good, and this
for.
is
He's just not developed yet. Is he very young? I know one
Snyder's
thing
another
about
guy that kind of didn't live up to his potential fully. He had some really nice seasons before we adjusted the settings in the league, and since hitters
Oh
have
yeah, look at that.
had a
Yeah.
recurrence, he's been exposed. Uh, his bullpen's been okay, right? Top four in the league.
Padilla killing it as usual.
I feel like Iglesias hasn't pitched really good, only 30 movement, so it looks like he's maybe a little prone to give up that long ball from time to time, but the rest of
Yeah,
his
one and a
bullpen's
half
pitched
home
pretty
runs
well.
per nine.
Padilla, I mean, I guess, Padilla for a closer hasn't pitched great, right? But
Oh, we lost this pitcher,
yeah,
Luis Martinez. Career over. We forgot about that one.
yeah. That was a
Probably
brutal one.
Anything else you got on San Diego?
No, let's move on.
Yeah,
We've
he's
spent too much time on these two teams anyways because they're pretty much a lock. So, and this is a quick preview
yeah.
that we're doing slowly.
So who's
Phoenix.
next? Phoenix?
Yeah, let's just go down the line, right?
Yeah. They're currently
Phoenix
third.
is Phoenix is at the end of their window. I think they traded a lot of assets early on. This team still smashes the ball. Look at that, second in home runs, but that's pretty much all they got going for them right now.
Yeah.
The pitching is falling off big time. Definitely not a lot of depth there. You still got the 6-man rotation going. Interesting. The bullpen's been okay. I mean, actually 10th in ERA, but I mean, I don't hate what Will Fine's done or Justin Dillman at the back. But yeah, look at Scott Caricia here, 32 home runs. Maybe this is where you need to find your power if you're in the trade market for some there, Chris. Caricia's at 32 home runs. Fried, Barry, Piles. Mark Barry, that guy sounds like he could play in Spokane.
He probably could.
Don't you need a second baseman? There you go.
Quit,
Yeah,
quit,
so I mean,
quit toying around with me
I
here.
think I don't think Brendan. I mean, he's had games back here with 40 to play. His likelihood of making the playoffs is pretty slim. He's got pretty much everybody coming off the books this year, with the exception of Nate Fried, who's owed a player option of almost $50 million. So something tells me he's going to accept that player option. If he doesn't, that's fucking insanity. But everybody else, if you look at his front office and his salaries page, is coming off the books. He's going to shed like 80 million in salary this year, so it's a good chance for him to kind of change directions with the franchise after this season.
Get to spend some money and do what he wants. Does he have
Yeah,
a Oh, that's right. He doesn't really have a system either because he kind of trades his picks away, right?
yeah, absolutely. I mean, I don't know if he's got some upcoming picks finally, because I don't know if he's been active
Meet
with
the
his trades
team.
the last few years. But I mean,
Chris Morgan is his
hopefully,
top
I don't know if
prospect.
he's around. I don't know if he's around this deadline, but hopefully he's trying to ship away some of these superstars. So I mean, Nate Fried's got a no trade clause, and I don't think anybody's taking on a $40 million contract, so that's not going to happen. Mark Barry's got a no trade clause. He doesn't want to waive it. Maybe he's stuck with a lot of these guys. Caricia, not willing to trade a no trade clause. I mean, these guys aren't winning, but they're loving it. They're in Phoenix. Jordan Smith would, but he's not really. So I don't know. Maybe he can't move anybody. We'll see.
Yeah.
But next team, San Antonio and K's team. I thought this was the only team that maybe had an outside shot of being a playoff team.
Looks like
If
injuries have.
and I kind of thought it was via the wild card route, but I don't think that's going to happen. Yeah, he's had quite a few injuries, huh?
And Norm Soto's one. It's unknown. It's minimal day to day, but
Yep.
that still scares me.
Jeremy Andrews looks like a nice piece, though, and looks like he's been injured for a minute. Yeah, Terrence Mason on this team. I love Terrence Mason. Really good quality pitcher, and he's had a nice season so far. Looks like the back end, that closer looks really nice. Barry Pup.
Oh wow, look at him. Just look at him.
What a handsome fellow.
Yeah, I gotta like that. San
But
Antonio.
pretty similar. San Antonio hasn't been great this year. Norm Soto has been a superstar year in and year out, and this year he's kind of exceeded at least his 2006 campaign by a lot. He's back to his 2005 form. 34 years young, he could continue to tear it up for couple more seasons here. It looks like he's pretty much a first base DH at this point. He is playing in the field right now. It looks like he's playing out in right field. He's a negative 16 zone rating, so super liability out there. Can't imagine what his WAR would be actually if he wasn't playing the field right now. He'd probably be up.
He's got him set to DH at the moment. So
Does he?
yeah,
That's good.
the primary roster is designated hitter.
You're right. I'm on the wrong season. He played right field last year, so K's doing the right thing. Hide your wife's now hiding on the bench as a DH.
There you go.
That's his nickname, in case you didn't get that reference. Yeah, I mean his pitching staff sucks. His team kind of sucks. Maybe next year, right?
Yeah.
Who's next? Firing through these like candy.
Golden State.
Golden State, Johnny. Let's see. Our most freshman GM who took over the team definitely on the downward trend. Not sure if he done anything to really turn that corner yet. I think it's going to be a multi-year rebuild process. He's got a couple of good pieces here. Really young pieces, so I'm not sure if he's going to hold on to those guys and build around them or try to, flip them for more assets and just continue to acquire assets and build up. There's a lot of ways he could go with things, I think, right?
Yeah.
I feel like Golden State has a good budget because of their past history.
Yeah, they got. Yeah, I agree. Who was the last person that had him? Clayton was his name.
Clayton had for several years. So it's not like this team is like some of our franchises turned over several times. It was one GM who took them to the playoffs a couple times and then just got busy and.
Yeah, he had a miracle run. I think he won the division, I believe. Yeah, he won the division. No.
I think you're right. I think he did. I think he
went to
had done a championship
2000.
game.
I agree. Yeah, I think he did.
Yeah, but I mean, if you're looking at the team stat rankings for this team, 13 out of 14th in almost everything. It's pretty crazy, actually. Even though there's two teams with a worse record in the Ruby division, in terms of statistics, they're towards the bottom in almost everything. So definitely a lot of work to do to turn over this roster and become a competitor in the future. It's funny, he does have, again, shows it doesn't help winning, but he's got some power hitters on this team. 6 in home runs, but that's like kind of the shining thing on this team. He's got some guys that can knock the ball out of the park, but that's about it. I do like Prejean a lot, so fortunately he's a first baseman, and his other really nice hitter, Jesse Duvall, is also a first baseman. And those aren't always the most important positions to fill, but I don't dislike Kim either. He's not a bad player. But yeah, Golden State, kind of like everybody else in the Ruby that's not named San Diego and Spokane. Better luck next year. That's how I feel. Hopefully you're selling. Anybody below Phoenix, anybody below San Diego, hopefully you're selling. It's going to bring us to the next dumpster fire, the team out in Hawaii. And hey, I didn't think I was going to be good this year, but having Ben Blackwell out for multiple months, he's now on rehab at AAA, and having Ricardo Box out for multiple months, and losing, I mean, these pitchers suck anyways, but losing these guys for multiple months when I don't have a very good deep pitching staff, it's been a recipe for disaster. And I've been a really bad team. I mean, I'm pretty bad at pretty much every statistical category. I am. Yeah. Yeah, Joe McLean, he's a pretty good hitter. If anybody's out there looking for a second baseman, having a down year this year, but part of me thinks that's because my team's so bad he just like can't perform. My base running is worse. Yeah, 13th. I don't know how to fix it. That's why I didn't give you advice on how to fix it, because mine sucks too. shining light on this team, there's not. I mean, there's some things in my system, but don't need to look at that. There's nothing that's close. So really, anybody's for sale. Come talk to me. Javier Jame is close to being shipped away, as we're talking about the trade deadline here. I've been talking to a couple teams about him, and I'm probably going to move him by tomorrow evening at the latest. I don't want to keep people waiting up until Sunday morning. So maybe even by tomorrow morning. So if you're interested in Jaime, hit me up. But really, anybody on my roster is for sale, so don't hesitate to reach out. I've been talking with someone about Roland Rodriguez too. Yeah.
Boy, I forgot.
Nate Tester, no trade clause, unfortunately. Ricardo Box, willing to waive his no trade clause? No, he doesn't have one. Somebody wants to take Box and have him for next year, you know. If you're thinking about next year right now, come give me a call.
Can you trade an injured player?
Yeah, why not?
I don't know if you could. Hey, if you got no problem with it, I guess it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I don't think they'd do it in real life, but you know.
Yeah, it makes no sense. I guess I
Jim
don't know.
Jones is actually my shining piece. He's only a 45-45, but this guy could help a team if someone needs some depth. I believe in Jim.
Jim Jones.
Anyways, that's my team. I'm not good this year, and you and San Diego are, and it's very depressing that I created this league for you guys to dominate. And um, on to the next team,
Thank you. Thank you.
Vancouver. Bob's team. Bob is maybe the quietest GM in the league. That's not true. There's a couple other quiet GMs, but haven't heard much from him yet. But he is on the rebuild side of things. His team's really, really bad. 35-79 is, I think, the worst team in the Fire Conference by a pretty hefty margin, by at least 11 games here. So,
He's got Pete Spooner on him.
um, Pete Spooner, yeah, great name. Might need to put a little nickname in there. We'll see. And I mean, yeah, look at he's not great in anything
No.
except for base running. You should call Bob and see what the secret is to
Yeah.
base running, because this guy is plus 17.9, which is pretty impressive, apparently. So
Yeah.
yeah, he makes
How
the
do you
most
do
of
it?
it. He doesn't get on base a lot, but when he does, he makes the most of it. And yeah, I mean, I like in terms of looking at his team, I like Aaron Heisler too, although he's kind of dubbed down a bit. I remember when this guy was like,
Andy Kerrigan looks like he's. Ooh, Andy Kerrigan's stepped down big time.
yeah, Heisler never reached his height. So yeah, there's nothing really here. Hopefully he's going to be able to start changing things around. And you're right, Andy Kerrigan is pretty much washed, right? At this point, 3-time pitcher of the year. Is it enough to be a Hall of Famer? What do you think? Short-lived career? Man, that's going to be a tough question, the way he just kind of flamed out like that.
He's 3-time player of the
Three-time
year.
pitcher of the year. Yeah. It's kind of like, it's the debate, like, who's the guy, the knuckleballer? R.A. Dickey for the Mets. He was like one of the most dominant pitchers ever for like 2 or 3 seasons, but like, is that enough to be a Hall of Famer?
Yeah. I know what you're saying.
But yeah, so yeah, Bob's team bad, and that's okay. Hopefully he can change things up. But if he has any pieces that would help your team, I don't know, maybe reach out to him. Again, just trying to encourage teams to be active here on the trade deadline, because of course you don't get compensation when a free agent walks. So if you can get anything for an expiring contract, it's good to do so. And anybody who's competing, I mean, I know there's a lot of free money in the league or open money on different teams. So hopefully people are trying to go out and improve their team here at the deadline if they're in contention. Anyways, on to the Topaz division, because I don't think we really need to rank them here, right? Do you think anybody's making the playoffs, Chris, besides you and Alex?
Unless a miracle happens for Phoenix, which has been known to happen to him.
Yeah, maybe.
But
I don't think it's possible.
I don't think it's possible either this year. I think it's just me and San Diego, and it's going to be a fight for me and who gets first place. I hope it's me.
Yep, I agree. I think you hang on. I think you hang on with the +6 right now.
We'll keep on the
Personally,
tradition of not maintaining the same division winner 2 years in a row in the Ruby division.
I mean, look into you've got Phoenix, you've got Philly and New York, which is going to be easy street, but you've got Montreal and Washington, which will be a little tougher.
I just
And then
finished
what
up
does he have?
I'm
Because I
not
mean,
sure.
obviously, once you get to divisional play, you play every team 6 times, so you guys got even schedules. But I'm just wondering what you've got in between that.
I'm not worried. Well, I am, but I don't know. Nothing I can do about it. Out of the peak. OOTP gods.
Yeah, so
It's
I
up
mean,
to
he's
them.
got Lehigh. Yeah, he's got the same kind of split basically. He's got Somerville, Montreal, Lehigh, Boston. So, all right, let's go on to the Topaz,
With Heron. Herons. Well, Huron.
the Herons, the Heron Herons, the Huron Herons,
Yeah, I don't know how to say it.
and Michael is an aggressive trader. He's one of the most aggressive traders in the league. He's done some interesting things this deadline, and I won't lie, I'm pretty shocked by the Omar Gonzalez Eduardo Alberto trade. I guess it kind of makes sense, right? He's given up a huge salary dump in terms of Alberto next year. It might be due $24 million, but it is a player option. So like, what if he opts out and then you just basically sent 37 home run guy and Omar Gonzalez away for free on an expiring contract when you didn't even have to pay him next year? So to not get anything in return, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just maybe a small picture guy, not seeing the big picture, and that's probably the truth because I'm a bad team with no championships. Um, but we'll see how that works out for Michael. And then he did just made a huge move. He just traded away multiple draft classes, basically, at the top of multiple draft classes to bring in Anguiano. So, I mean, he's not giving up on things. He just, basically, if you are in the Topaz division, you just watch Michael trade away the best power hitter in the Fire Conference. So he clearly has no faith any of you guys are going to make a run at this. So I'm just throwing it out there. No, not trying to stir anything up or anything like that, right? But he's put his cards on the table and he's saying you guys ain't got shit, basically. Um, that's how I interpret the trades, and everybody interprets trades differently. But that's what I'm going to go with my interpretation. What do you think, Chris?
um, Ballsy. I don't know. He must know,
It is
see something.
ballsy.
He knows what he's doing. I guess.
Yeah, I
I
mean,
mean, I
again, he's freeing
lost to
up a
him,
ton of
so
money for next
he
year.
knows more than
That
me.
was pointed out. Yeah, and he's had a good team. He's built this up really well. So I'm excited to see how it plays out. I mean, he can really transform his team into something completely different next year. He's got super young pieces to continue to build around, so he's going to still be good. It's just like it's such an aggressive, crazy move that I don't have it in me to make. So it's kind of interesting, for sure. Pat Farrow, 25 years old, right? This guy's like a freaking generational stud. Um, like 32 home runs already.
Yeah.
On pace for back-to-back 45 home run seasons, pretty much. Um, so I mean, he still has that middle of the lineup guy. I'm sure Pat Farrow's maybe going to shift into the 4 spot now that Gonzalez is gone. Victor Rivera's only 27, and he's like a defensive like stud as well. So this guy's like a piece to build around. So I mean, I guess if he's going to have to start paying some of these guys soon, which he may. I mean, they're starting to get towards the end of those arbitration seasons for some of them. Um, yeah, you got to free up money, but it's going to be fun to see how the season finishes without Gonzalez in the middle of that lineup holding things down.
Oh yeah.
He did bring in an ace though, and looking at his team, kind of makes sense. His pitching's been pretty good, but that's just going to make it even better.
Mhm. I guess he's
Who's
sacking.
he got plugging in? Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
I guess he's sacrificing. A 30-year home run guy for the cap space and probably the money for the that pitcher that coming in. So it kind of makes
Yeah.
sense. I think I'm starting to get it now a little bit, probably.
Well, that pitcher. Look at Anguiano's contract
Can you
first of
spell it for
all.
me?
Angui, and then it'll probably find it out for you. Um, infuriating. That's all I'm gonna say. Infuriating. It kind of makes sense because this guy was like a 55 overall at one point, and he just devved up crazy. This guy's got a crazy story. Um,
Well, look
yeah,
at
look at this.
that.
When he hit the majors, he was like a 30. It was late in 2004. He was maybe like a 40 out of 55. I don't know what the actual scouting was on him from Denver Scout, but or was he in Denver or New York? I don't remember. Anyways, um, yeah, devved up like crazy, and now look at his contract. Freaking robbery, bro.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, this guy, if you go to the player rankings page, he's literally ranked the number one pitcher in the league, and he's making less than $10 million over the next 3 seasons. So
Wow. Incredible.
that's some broken shit right there, but good for the Herons for having that guy locked up now and paying an enormous price, which is not surprising if you actually
Wow.
look at
Yeah,
that
he had
contract.
to
It makes
get
sense
rid of
why you'd pay for 2 firsts and a second and whatever the fuck he just paid.
and get. I see why he shipped Omar Gonzalez for that cap space. That was an expensive contract. I was wrong on that one.
Well, yeah,
Big swing
yeah,
and a miss
but I
on
do
that
see why
theory.
he shipped so many assets away to get it because of the contract.
I don't know. Great team. I don't know what he's doing, but
That's
he's
for sure.
he's a tough one.
Yep. I mean, do you think he's gonna? Well, we'll keep going through the rest of the teams. I don't know. We'll see if he holds on here down the stretch. His pitching has been his strength. His offense has been pretty good. He's had some flaws in offense, but um,
He's
Jeff
top
Cooper,
top
the
five and
shortstop,
everything,
great
but
defensive shortstop. Jeff Cooper's terrible.
it's because he's unmotivated. But
He's just, I mean, his team is, it makes sense. It's all about the offense at some positions. The shortstop and the catcher is all about the defense, catcher ability. So, yeah, he's going to be good. He's going to make the playoffs. He's got an 8-game lead on Kingston for missing the playoffs. So I don't think he's going to fall that far from grace if this does backfire. But I think he's going to probably hold on and win the division. We'll see. He's 5-5 over his last 10. He just transformed his team completely. It's going to be fun to watch.
when you do that, you tend to just go skyrocket. And I feel like
Maybe.
I've seen it happen.
Maybe. Yeah.
You're like, should I trade? And then your team goes like,
I'm
goes on
always
a tear.
I'm always afraid I'm gonna make a big move and then my team's gonna react negatively and then I'm gonna look like an ass and then I'm just gonna like lose 10 games in a row. I don't know.
Instead, you'll just lose one.
Anyways, let's look at the next team.
Milwaukee.
Milwaukee. So Milwaukee.
They're
Who thought
tearing it up right
Milwaukee
now.
would be? Yeah, I don't think anybody thought Bob's team would be in second place, including Bob. If I remember the start of the season, he was 5-19. So now he's plus 20. So that's like a 34 game turnaround, which is insane. And he made a comment. He's like, I'll probably finish right around 500, joking he'd, improve from 5-19 to 500. But I don't think he saw himself being plus 20 at this point in the season. He won 17 in a row at one point, I believe, was the streak.
Wow.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Showtime's division's been crazy this year. I mean, I think 1, 2, 3, 4 of the 7 teams have had a 10-game win streak, which is similar to what the Jade did last year. But
Hmm. It's a very scary
what's
team
going?
too. Like, I mean, he's a lot like my team. He doesn't have a lot of players that are hitting home runs.
Honestly, his offense isn't very good, and I feel like
No,
that's kind of what we looked at that's what I looked at in the preseason podcast. His pitching's been really good, though. I mean,
he can steal
Dave Wallace
bases,
has been
but
amazing.
he can't really run the bases. We don't get this running thing. His pitching though looks like has
Oh, his
been
base running, yeah,
starting. He's got Dave Wallace.
yeah. Wallace has been great. Flora's been pretty good. Jeremy Pear's been pretty good. I mean, his pitching's definitely been anchoring him, I think, in these games.
Yeah.
I do like Corey Goodman a lot. Corey Goodman here, just in his second season, after being traded from trade with Louisville. Corey Goodman. That's what it says. It says he was traded with Louisville, but he last played for. Oh yeah, Indy, Milwaukee. Okay, I'm confused. Indy is Milwaukee. Whew. We got this. We got this. Yeah, so he was traded, and then he started as a rookie last year for Milwaukee, and he's been pretty good the first 2 seasons of his career. So he's kind of a bright spot here in the offense. But yeah, I don't know. He has the two big injuries that we talked about. John Kraus, or we talked about it in chat. Kraus is out for over a year. He's going to be out next year too. And this guy was his ace for sure. And then Zerwal Jetja, the left fielder, has also been really, really great for him. Not really, really great, but like good. He's been a good piece. So
he's out a couple sims.
Zetcha would be back for the playoffs if he makes it.
That he will.
Maybe the last 2 weeks of the season, even. So yeah, it's going to be a dogfight. One of these 6 teams in the Topaz, they're all in it right now, and 2 of them are going to miss out. So Milwaukee's had some pretty heartbreaking finishes in the past, so I'm definitely not going to key them in as a team that's going to make the playoffs yet. They're going to have to maybe do something here at the deadline, or maybe just clench and hold on.
See what to
next
do.
Up, St. Louis, right? George
Louis
and the Steam. 64-50, and I'm not going to lie, I did not see the Steam being this good. They are really, really playing well. I think part of that is Frank Danzig's having a literal, generational kind of season. Dude's on pace for 64 home runs, 176 RBIs, just mashing the shit out of the baseball this year. 30 years old, so he's really right there in his prime. We're seeing a special player, as they like to say. Let's just hope he avoids that injury bug. He's been pretty healthy most of his career, but he has had a couple injuries that have cost him some games. So
he hasn't really missed that much. He's
healthy,
missed 6 months in 2004, but that's about it.
Towards the end of the season too, it wasn't too bad, but it was I think on a playoff run for St. Louis, and they missed when he missed. So, but he hasn't been in the playoffs for a couple seasons. So I think if Danzig stays healthy, the rest of this team is kind of supported him pretty well this season. Mike Anderson, Roland Boyle, Carlos Castro has kind of come onto the scene. We talked about this guy, and he's taking steps forward year after year. I really like him as a leadoff hitter. So the offense has been really good if you look at the team's statistical categories or whatever. Or at least they've been above average. Pitching's been pretty average, but it's been good enough, right? Like with the offensive production from some of these guys we've highlighted.
Yeah, I'd have to agree.
He doesn't have standout pitching like we've seen.
I mean,
on a couple teams.
Maybe Jesse Wilkes.
Joe Sanborn's pitching brilliantly. I mean, look at his K to walk ratio. I really like to look at that.
Wow. Yeah, look at that. Yeah, crazy.
He's pitching really well for a pitcher that the scouts aren't very kind to. 45 overall.
Yeah.
Juan Benavidez is a 6 ERA. That's kind of crazy. If I was St. Louis, I'd maybe keep an eye on that. I mean, he only has 4 blown saves on the season, and he's converted 13. Was he injured all season, or is he just coming back? What's going on here? I think he was out for 5 weeks starting in May, but maybe it's just Russ coming back. But Alejandro Marquez is pitching really well as a closer.
Last 2 games, got 2 earned runs. Yeah, well, he's been bouncing from 6.
Maybe, you watch him kind of next sim and maybe he recovers, but if he doesn't, maybe you put Marquez back in the closer role, right? I mean, this
Yeah,
guy's got a 1.76 ERA. He's been doing it well in his absence. So
yeah, maybe swap the two.
Craig Siemens, just wanted to get his name in there. Craig Comet Siemens. That's genius.
That made me
All right,
giggle too
St.
much.
Louis. I think St. Louis has a good chance. I would take them over Milwaukee.
Have they been playing good baseball lately? What's the do we have
I mean, they're in third place. I think that's the highest they've been all season, right? And maybe that's
well
Louisville
it's a
stumbling a little bit. I know Kingston's been stumbling,
keep
but I mean,
feeding.
yeah, I think. Sorry, go ahead.
I was gonna say Kingston has been falling.
Yeah, and I think St. Louis was a couple games under 500, and then they had one of those 10-game win streaks at least. Um, yeah, 64-50. A lot of season left, but they're in good shape here. I mean, they're only 2 games up on that last wild card spot, like right, so it could really go in any direction.
Mm-hmm.
Louisville, Chuck, defending champions.
Fourth
Take a
place.
look. I freaking love this team. He won a bunch of games in the middle of the season too. He had a really nice win streak, but this offense is great. I can't believe their team stat rankings batting average is seventh. Just looking at Dan Davis and Park and Guevara and Pacheco right there, the 2, 3, 4, 5 hitters, they all look like they're having really great seasons. Mashburn as well is having not hitting as well for average, but having a nice season power wise. But I like his
Maybe
lineup a lot. And go ahead.
I was gonna say maybe his leadoff guy hitting 234. Danny Mashburn 206. You know that's probably taking a hit in the batting average. For the
Yeah,
team.
Garnica hasn't been great. You're right. His defense has been wow. He's played every position pretty much. He's played second, third, short, center, and right field this season. But his defense has been okay. But yeah, he's definitely been a liability in the leadoff spot. Seems like. I say you put playoff hero Jesse Davies in the leadoff spot. 2-time playoff MVP,
Yeah,
playoff
uh,
series MVP.
Golden Glove
Put him
in
up there to inspire the
2005.
troop.
Yeah,
Yeah.
listen to Oahu's man.
Listen to sixth place Wahoo. Eric Pierce has been really disappointing this year. I thought this guy was going to be one of the next, pretty good pitchers. 15th overall pick in 2002, and he's kind of trending in the wrong direction. Really, really bad season so far. 72 innings pitched. Hopefully, he can work through it, but I never know what to do in that situation, right? Where you have a guy that's like supposed to be good. He's got a lot of good pitches. He's got a pretty good rating, and man, his statistics fucking suck. Do you just like wait it out? Do you try to make him put him in the bullpen for a minute? Like I don't know. It's tough to decide how to try to fix it.
Did you pick up Dave Sheets this year? Dave Sheets looks like he's doing very well for him.
He did, yeah,
Picked him up this year. Yeah,
yeah. He's doing okay. He's doing pretty well.
got a lot of saves. I just noticed it. 29 saves, 2.44 ERA.
Yeah, he's got second in bullpen ERA, so his bullpen's been good top to bottom. It looks like a big part of their success this year has been locking down those leads.
His FIP
Park's
is
having a great
second. His
season as
pitching WAR.
usual.
But you say his pitching's been bad, but his pitching WAR is first.
No, I said Eric Pierce has been bad.
Oh, okay. I thought you said pitching was bad. My bad.
No, Eric Pierce has been bad, and I thought he was going to be better. But he did mention Brendan Geary um, being a snub for the All Star game, which I kind of agree with. He's having a really nice season,
Yeah, that is a snub. I agree.
and yeah, I think. I mean, I'd be surprised if Chuck was on the outside looking in. I think he's got what it takes to make the playoffs. I'm probably giving him the kiss of death right now. That's okay. It's okay.
Well,
He got his
he's got
glory.
this
He missed
guy
this to
right
happen.
here, so
Yeah,
it's
he
all.
does. That guy can do a lot for you.
He's the man. Can I have him? That's all I can
Please
ask.
trade him to me right now.
I'll give you
Thanks.
$1, $1 American.
He's got Park locked up for 2 seasons, this season and next. So, all
Anything
right.
else? Move
Nope,
on.
not from me.
Move on to Kingston.
Let's talk about Kingston.
I mean, he's down there, but I mean, he's in the hunt. It's not, won't take him that
Yeah,
long. He needs to get some divisional wins.
I'm gonna get Jacob back on the podcast here soon. He wasn't available tonight, but yeah, I'd love to hear his stats and his team. I know he's pretty disappointed with where he's at right now. Part of it's just been the division's been really good, right?
Yeah,
Like we were talking about,
division's really
everybody's
good.
gone on these really good win streaks. He's kind of like you, no power hitters.
Yeah, yep, a lot like me. Got Zach Coster, the dual threat.
Yeah, he must not. He's only playing 2/3 of his games at the plate. It looks like 88 at bats, or excuse me, 88 games. We're 112 into the season, so not injury related. He just must have him on a workload management kind of thing.
It's crazy. He's rated the same in both positions as pitcher and first base.
Yeah, he's talented. I say burn him out, Jacob. Why are you workloading him? Just burn him out. You got to make the playoffs. You're in fifth place. It's all hands on deck.
You tell him to make a decision. Do what you
Yeah,
want to
burn
do.
him out. Burn him out. He needs to play every game. He needs to pitch and hit and
Yeah.
swing. Rich Gordon still is one of the best in the league, even though he's now on the other side of 30. He's gonna keep
Oh
heading in
my
that
God. So
wrong
old,
direction, right?
31.
Yeah. He's a his big challenge is staying healthy, of course, but when he's healthy, he's the best. He's the best. He's moved
He's
over to second base, which kind of makes sense. He doesn't have the bars to be an elite shortstop anymore.
no, I agree. Great second baseman. That's where I'd keep him.
Yep. And then we've got, let's see, Adrian Lehman. He's doing pretty well. A lot of guys are really struggling. I feel like walks are really high in this league. Still some finicky shit with the stats, but whatever. Shane Markward, loving him on the back of the bullpen. He's going to go down as a great. Look at the games pitched for New York. That's sick. Guy would pitch more than 50% of the season when he was in New York.
It's crazy.
Think about that. 162 games, 81, 81. Guy was in almost every other game. How do you even make him do that? And actually, Matt, if you're listening to this part of the podcast, how do you make your guy pitch that often? I don't think I've ever seen a guy pitch that often.
Yeah, it's
Player
kind
setting where it's just like pitch this guy every day,
of.
unless he's physically dead. Crazy.
Wow.
Yeah. But yeah, Jacobs' offense is pretty terrible this year. I think again he's missing a power hitter, kind of like you are, and where you are succeeding, he's not hitting for good average or getting on base a lot, and
Hmm.
just overall doesn't have a lot of depth in his lineup this year.
Yeah, he's got some liabilities on the offensive side, like Ron Oliver. Great defensive shortstop. I traded him to him. I mean, three-time Golden Glove.
Joe Smith is taking a step back from his rookie campaign. He still looks really, really nice, and I like him a lot as a leadoff guy, but just a small step back. But yeah, I mean, again, Jacob could still make the playoffs this year.
He's
He's
not too
hanging
far
around. All
back.
these teams have been like 500 over the last like month.
He's
Like they're
only
all just like no one wants it. No one wants it in this division. They all just want to just fuck around. We'll see if someone steps up and tries to take it. But what do you think? Next team?
Yeah, next team. That would be Virginia.
Virginia. Andrew's team has made another late season run here. They just got off like an 11 or 12 game win streak. He was thinking about trading earlier this season, but now that we're at the deadline, I think he might be buying. I don't know. Maybe he's holding firm. I don't think he's selling, but maybe he is. He's 4 games back from a wild card right now. I think he still has plenty of a shot to make the playoffs, but who knows what's going on in his head. His team's been kind of mid, right? Like not great. They're just above
Yeah.
500. Offensive and pitching stats are just pretty average across the Fire Conference.
He would be fighting for a playoff, or he'd be fighting in the Ruby division. That's for sure.
Yeah, yeah, he'd be. Yeah, and I mean, again, he'd be in third place. Yeah, he'd be a playoff team. He's in the playoff hunt, even in his tough division. So, I love the Phil Crawhorn pickup. Right, took him from the Herons in the free agency, but Phil Crawhorn's played for now at 4 teams. And this guy continues to produce. He's almost 42 years old.
Jelly Roll.
Jelly Roll.
You gotta like that nickname.
Good old Jelly Roll. He's going to get another homer.
I like his contract too. 20 million, 2,000.
What's that?
20 million,
20 million.
2,000.
Oh yeah, that 2,000. Yeah, probably locked it up. I'm telling you, this guy's made 160 million in his career, and he's been playing since.
That covers some taxes.
Who else do we like on this team? I mean, Phil Crawford obviously is on his way out. He's done great to keep them relevant this season, though. Like I think Virginia extended their window with that signing. Castillo is nice. Dude's good for like 100 runs a year. That's
he's
great.
Pretty mid on the offense. Just mid across the board.
Well, his team's just not deep. He's got some really great offensive pieces, but the bottom is empty, right? His lineup.
Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize this leadoff guy is killing it. 322 average. Oh, he's only played 68 games, but
those are great bars, though.
Yeah, can't hit a home run the life of him, but he can hit. Won't strike out.
Yeah.
Will walk. Yeah.
Like anybody with that profile, does struggle with the injuries a little bit. Always running around the base paths, going too fast.
He's fast. He's fast, can't steal, and can't run the base. But he's fast at doing it.
And Virginia has a super young starting rotation. All of them still developing. And I think that's kind of one of the things that makes him, just on the outside looking in, maybe it's going to be a little difficult to. I mean, again, he could get in. He's been in 3 straight seasons. He's proven he's good at getting there. So
yeah, he
I'm not going to count him out until they'll make it.
Didn't he make a late run miracle last year?
Yeah, he's the one that knocked out Milwaukee. So Milwaukee's in second, Virginia's in 6th. At the end of the season, it could be the exact opposite. I'm telling you, this division's wide open. 8 games, that could be made up. This is the most competitive division going into the rest of the season.
Yeah, I agree.
Last guy to look at on this team, I think before we move on, Eddie Sanchez. He's been a stud in the league. I love him. He's selfish. He's a selfish bastard, but closer there under bullpen. Yeah, he's a selfish bastard, but he's been really good wherever he goes. He's been a journeyman a little bit. He played for me last year, so nice pickup there for Andrew and the Rebels. He's a lefty, so yeah. That's all I got on them.
Move to Nashville.
Sounds good.
Nashville, last place.
Nashville's in last place, but they are only 12 games under 500, and they had like a 15-game losing streak in the middle of the season. So if you take that out, they've been just like a pretty average team. It just like they caught that losing bug and they couldn't shake it for a literal like half month.
Yeah.
But I mean, middle of the lineup, they've got two absolute beasts. They've got Old Man Gartz, as I like to call him, the Todd Father, greatest nickname in baseball, and then John Bartlett right in front of him, who's also been really, really great, younger guy, and just Seth Thomas. Also, I think we were talking about him. Someone mentioned that Cody had regretted drafting Seth Thomas. Cody's been an inaugural GM. He was here in the original draft. And he took him 21st overall, one of only two teams, I think, that took up a prospect in the first round,
Mm-hmm.
with the Herons being the other one. And yeah, Seth Thomas has turned out to be pretty decent. I think the
Wow,
big
he just
knock on
barely made
him,
it last year, huh? It's
yeah, I
crazy.
mean, he was like a 2080. He was like a 17-year-old, right? So now he's 24 years old, 7 years later. So
That's
he was
crazy.
young. He had a lot of developing to do. But he's been good. Like, he's been really good. 352 average from the leadoff spot. So yeah, I like the offense here. The offensive stat rankings have been pretty mid through the season so far, right? Out of 14, 7th, 8th. That's like right on the barrier of the middle of the league. But um, he's the only team that pretty much doesn't have a chance at this point. It just didn't work out for him this season, and we'll have to see what he does. He's been pretty busy lately. I hope all is well with him. But I would say, if anybody's looking for pieces, Jason Gartz, that's not a bad bat to have down the stretch. Maybe shoot Cody a message and see if he can work something out. Yeah, that's all I got. On to the next one.
Yeah, it covers the Fire Conference.
Yeah, what do we think then? I'll
I
let you
think
go. What do you think of the Fire Conference? Or what do you think of the Topaz division? Excuse me.
Topaz Division, it's gonna be, it's like you said, most competitive for sure. I mean, you at least got like 5 teams right now fighting for a playoff position, and they're up 10 games from the next Ruby player. So it's definitely gonna be 4 teams from the Topaz Division going to the
Yep, I
playoffs.
agree. Yep. So it's just about who's out of the top six, right?
Yeah, unless some
Who you
miracle
taking? Who you
happens.
taking to win?
The 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 the, the the Topaz Division.
Yeah, who's winning the division down the
Oh,
stretch here?
I'm gonna say, I mean, Huron, because they just they've had it for the past couple of years.
Yeah,
They've
they
made
have.
some big trades. We'll see. It might bite them in the ass, but it might not. Who knows? We'll see. Uh,
Yeah, I'm curious. I'm curious to see how it works out.
yeah, I am as well. It'll be interesting to see the next coming up in the future this next week.
Yep.
Well, what are your thoughts? Who do you think's gonna win?
Yeah, I think they might win it as well. I think I like Louisville. I just want to give them that championship respect. Maybe make a
Mm-hmm.
run and take second place. And Jacob's team's been struggling. I don't know. I could see Jacob making a wild card, but I could see them missing the playoffs as well. Virginia, I don't want to count them out, but I feel like they've made their run here, and now they're just going to be mid the rest of the season. I don't think they're going to be able to make that final push. So I think Virginia's out. So I
Yeah, I
think,
think so too.
honestly, I just like to poke the bear, and maybe history is going to repeat itself. So I think maybe Bob's team collapses, and the mobsters are out, and the rebels are out this year.
I think
And
it's
I
gonna
think
be.
Jacob sneaks in, and I think Chuck takes second. And I think St. Louis maybe gets that top wild card.
I think I would differ from you though. I think because I think
Yeah,
Heron's
let me
got
hear
it.
it.
I think it's.
Yep.
I think Milwaukee may continue with second. I think St. Louis is gonna miss
All right.
unless Danzig keeping him up and all that stuff running. I think maybe
Yeah, it could happen.
St. Louis misses. Riverman, I don't know. It's between those two. I do think Jacob will sneak in somehow. We'll see. maybe totally
Yeah,
wrong.
we'll see. No, we'll see. I like the differentiation there. You think Virginia's missing that as well?
Oh yeah, Virginia's out. Virginia's out.
Yeah. I mean, again, they're only 4 games back. They literally less than a week into next sim, we could be eating our words, which is fucking hilarious. And what I love about this game,
Hmm.
we're so confident that Virginia's out, right? I love the way you said that, but
Hmm.
we'll see if it happens, right? I'm
I mean, I've been in his shoes
excited for
before.
the final week of the season. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right.
Do you
What do you
have
think?
who do you have, who do you think's gonna be? Ah, well, fuck it. We don't need to. We're done.
We don't need to do champions at that point. Yeah. I think we'll see how the playoffs play out. Playoffs are their own beast. We've kind of discovered that so far, right? They've
Hmm.
had really good teams multiple times in the Fire Conference go nowhere. Not just not win a division. I mean, excuse me, win a playoff series, but like barely win a fucking game in those playoff series. So yeah,
Very, very true.
yep.
Take a quick little break and go on to the ice conference.
I like it. I'm down.
All right.
Maybe have a quick smoke, grab a drink, and break down the rest of these teams. We don't want to keep half the league waiting.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
Be
So
right back.
cool. All right. right, Chris, let's keep it going here with the Ice Conference and break down the last 14 teams here in the league. And I think we should start off with the Sapphire division because honestly, there's a lot of dumpster fires in this division, and if we do them last, I think we're going to fall asleep. So let's do them first, and then we'll get on to the stronger Jade division. But looking at the number one team here in the Sapphire, it's the Somerville Moneyline, and JR has done a really fantastic job with this team this year. This might be his best team yet, right? Like
Yeah,
72
I
and
think
42.
so.
I know he makes the playoffs every other year, and
Every
this is
other
the
year.
joke. And I love how he's having such a great year because I predicted this. I did predict it this year, even though I didn't know how. He's 30 games above 500. It's just amazing to me.
From a bet man, he's not making it next year.
Well, again, this is one of those teams that doesn't have a superstar really. Like who's a superstar in this team? Find me the
DJ
guy.
Marksberry.
That's true. But he's declining a little bit. But you're right. I would say Marksberry is a superstar. So I take that back. He has a superstar.
But
It's not a ton of, you know. Look, he's got all lefties in the lineup. He's got one righty in Connolly. He's got one righty in Deathridge. Yamashita's a dual threat, but I mean his team stat rankings in the Ice Conference here, he's like fourth in most of the offensive categories, so he's playing well. If you look at his team position rankings too, a lot of these guys are in the top half of the TBL. You know, they're not guys to like shrug your shoulders at. It's just none of these guys stand out to me as being like signature players. Frank Escobar's having a great season. 311, 24 homers, 84 RBIs right now.
Jeez. Yeah. They're having a really strong season. That's for sure.
For sure. They have really good defense, and that helps support their pitching. Their pitching is actually really good here. If you look at David Konopka, he looks like he's going to be like a future star in this league, maybe. Still developing big time, but he's got 3 strong pitches. Wonder how high that stuff goes because I think if you see 80 of 80, can it go like above 80? You just don't see that.
Might be. I think
I heard
certain
that
stats
somewhere.
can break it. You just don't see it.
Yeah.
And stuff might be one of them, I believe.
But I mean, I guess if we're looking at the league average right now for the Ice Conference is 4.45 ERA. So all his guys are below league average. So even though he doesn't have any other really superstars on the rotation, with Marksberry out on the DL right now. Marksberry hasn't been on the DL long. Looks like he'll be back soon too.
Yeah, he's back in 4 days.
All his guys are just pitching above average in the starting rotation, so his rotation's been pretty good this year. His bullpen ERAs on the back end look a little concerning, right? But Ryan Turner, 28 saves. That's going to be up there towards the league lead.
Yeah. Yeah, I think I saw one.
It's like the lead is
earlier.
at 29. Yep. So.
Yeah, second in saves, not great ERA wise, but.
Yeah, Somerville Moneyline. They've got the 3rd best record in all of baseball, just behind you and behind Las Vegas. So part of me, and I actually feel this way about your team and about the San Diego Seals, and part of me just wonders like how much of this is going to be a little home cooking, right? Because you got some really bad teams at the bottom of the Sapphire division, so Somerville has probably feasted on them a little bit. I'm going to say to improve their record, but that's the same thing for the Sasquatches playing against the Ruby division and the Seals. I wonder, again, that gives you like home field advantage in the playoffs, and you might get a little bump there. But when you start playing the good teams, who's gonna weigh out and win?
Quit making me nervous, okay? Cut it out.
Yeah. Well, again, I'm big into starting pitching. So if Somerville can continue to pitch really well and play defense, they could be a dangerous team, and they're proving that being 30 games above 500. There's nothing I can say that's going to change the fact that this team is really, really good. What do you think?
I agree.
Anything
They're a
else?
really good team. I like it. They're built kind of like mine a little bit. I think they're better defensively, and I think he's got better. I think his players are like more league ranked better than mine. So, um, yeah, I think they're a good team. He's got to fight Montreal, which is another really good team. So, it's going to be a tough fight, I think, to the end. It's going to be a similar situation to the Ruby division, where it's me and Spokane and the Seals. They're just going to be fighting for first and second. But I mean, he's got a 9-game lead
I don't.
over Montreal.
I was
But
gonna say. Yeah, I
so
was gonna say I don't even know. I think he's got the division locked up on on your side, so he may have to start thinking about just does he have any injury prone players that he's gonna want to be protecting down the stretch so that they're ready for the postseason and more load management once rosters expand. Maybe he brings up some guys to get a look at the end of the season, knowing that he has some flexibility to lose a couple games. I don't think he's catching Las Vegas for the best record in the Ice Conference. Just because Las Vegas is really on fire right now and has made some big moves and has a 5-game lead on them.
yeah,
But yeah, um, I think
yeah, it's his division to lose this year.
I don't think he's going to. I
I
think
don't
he's going
think
to
he.
have a first round bye.
Nice. Well,
What do you think? Next team?
yeah, next team, Montreal, 63-51, 9 games back. Oh, looks like he's got a lot of injured players as well, like Paul Tizard,
Yeah, we kind of
Villarreal.
joked a little bit. I feel like Tim wasn't looking at the injury page when he was doing a couple of his signings here with Saburo Kuramoto Duck Press being out for like this season. This guy's
Oh
like injury
no,
prone is
I
crazy.
forgot he signed this guy.
Yeah, yeah, 5 years, man. This guy's locked up for 5 years. So, um, the rest of the injuries, though, yeah, they continue to pile up. He's actually said in chat the other day, which is kind of funny, injuries, 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 and then he suffered another like super long injury, like I think maybe George Lee. Um, so he's definitely gotten brutalized
Yeah, yeah.
here
So
by the injury
I
bug
think
this
you're
season.
right. I think you're correct here by saying that Somerville's got this division on lock. So with
Yeah,
injuries
I
like
mean,
this, it's hard to turn around.
if anything, right now Montreal is going to be looking in the rearview mirror and being worried about Washington coming up and bagging second place. Um,
Washington. Oh yeah, look
because
at that. Washington making a
I mean,
push.
we'll look at the Generals in a second, but with the injuries piling up for Montreal, and I think they're on a 6-game losing streak right now, it's definitely concerning. Again, small sample size and a lot of baseball left. But let's look at the team. We've got some recognizable names here because this was one of the first championship streams that we actually got to call, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we've got Steve Moss and Vinny Penalver having pretty nice seasons. Steve Moss is like again one of the top 20 players in the league in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
Just stud. His stars aren't always there, but like aren't like as impressive as others, but his numbers are always there.
Yeah, Vinny with that sweet mustache.
Yeah,
Love that
I like this guy a
mustache.
lot. Yeah. Now that I can pronounce his name, he's grown on me.
I'm calling him Vinny. I'm not pronouncing it ever again.
Yeah. And of course, Matt Mace, I don't really know what's going on with his rating, but he's still pitching really well. This is another guy, like just some guys have just like completely regressed, and I don't really understand the rating system sometimes. This guy was like a 75 at one point.
70.
He was a 70-70 when the game started.
Oh,
2001 and 2002 All Star, and then since then he's had some nice seasons, but he just yeah. not what he once was. And maybe that's just an infusion of pitching talent that's come in from the minor leagues, right? And as that comes in, it changes ratings and adjusts those things. Like they're not the top dog in the league anymore because there's better pitchers who've come on.
Yeah. Who
But
knows?
man, it's brutal to see that kind of swing.
I don't know. That's all I know. So I don't
I don't either.
know.
I don't either. Yeah.
Anything else you got on Montreal? Ready to move on to the
Well,
next?
I think the other thing just to talk about with Montreal and the reason that they're in this race and have a good team, they such a good bullpen. Like, got to be the best bullpen in the game. Like,
Yeah,
look at these
Seth
guys and
Clemens,
their ratings.
who's out for
He's out
6 months.
6 months.
So
That's
yeah,
fucking insane. So that's another one that's not even on the decision. Oh no, he is over there on the list.
yeah. I didn't see him because you got to
Wow,
scroll down.
he may not be on the DL yet. He's not on the DL yet.
Ouch.
So that just happened. That's so brutal. I think that was the one that just happened, not George
Yeah.
Lee.
Oh yeah, I think you're correct.
So.
Yeah, but he's got Tim
But he
Miller,
still has
Elmer
so much depth.
Gonzalez.
Tim Miller, right? Like he's got guys that can just step right in, which is amazing.
Yeah, that bullpen is what's keeping him alive. I bet. I bet you're correct there on
Yep.
that one.
This team's basically like try to get on base for Steve Moss and let him mash the ball over the wall.
Let Steve Moss do all the work.
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of guys that can hit for average and get on base, and then he's the power, he's the muscle. So, all right, who's next?
It's Washington.
Washington, right? In Montreal, let's just say one last thing. You know, they've made the playoffs 3 straight seasons, so I think one of these two teams is gonna have to hold on to get a wild card. And we'll talk about it in a second, but I think they both have a good chance of getting in.
Yeah, they do. I do. I agree. But now we got
Yeah,
Washington
Washington,
trying to sneak their way
break
into
it
the playoffs
down.
for the
Our
first
our
time.
new team here. I don't
Oh,
know. They've been here before.
no,
They've been here before.
no, they have. That's right. They're an expansion team. They used to be Baltimore, correct?
This organization has been here before, and I don't know. I mean, I do think this is the best shot that they've had so far, for sure.
I agree.
Um, I mean, again, this is a team that's been eliminated on the final day of the season a couple times. He's got a 4-game lead over a couple of teams over in the J division that are going to start playing each other and consuming each other. But if even one of those teams gets hot, the rest will drop off, and that team could surpass him. So that could be scary, right?
Mm-hmm.
He's hoping for really a round robin result from the J division.
Yes.
But all he has to do is win games, and he's all set. Steve can make the playoffs here. You're right. He is one of 4 teams that hasn't done it yet. So hoping to break that curse
It
and
looks
get
like his
in.
offense is
And
alive though right now.
I think, well, we just talked about this. He's 1 game behind Montreal for second place for that automatic bid, and Montreal looks like a team that might be on the ropes. So
Yeah, I think he might sneak up in. I think Washington's going to sneak up in over in Montreal because Montreal's hurting right now. They just need band-aids. So
right, it's just the injuries. So I think Montreal's the better squad, maybe, but
yeah, I
I had
think
Montreal winning the division. I'm surprised they're 10 games back. And I think part of that is the injuries. So, but I do think Washington can come up and take second place here.
I do too. I believe they can. Um, I mean, like I said, their offense is killing it right now. They're second in runs scored, second in batting average, on base percentage,
Yeah, their
third
offense
in
is so
WAR,
so good.
fourth in homers, first in
Yep.
stolen bases. So like all offensive numbers, except for that
Look at
base
Jason
running.
Kohler. Jason Kohler is going to break the walks record. It's probably his own record he's breaking from last year.
Probably.
Or he's right on pace for it,
Mm-hmm.
166. But I know 117 is 4th all time, so I see at least 2 results better than that, and they're probably all his records. He's just the walk god. It's amazing.
Good old Bobby Bow.
Can you click his batting stats real quick? I just want to see his full record. Yeah, so he's led the league 4 straight seasons. It's going to be 5. So It's just an impressive streak. Don't know if that'll ever be done again in the history of this league, and who knows when he's going to stop.
He's just got that eye discipline.
Yeah, I mean, literally, just like he walks more times than games played. He walks at least once a game.
Jeez, it's crazy.
Carlos Lozano's having a great season there at shortstop, 20 home runs from the shortstop position. Sakan Matsumura also 21 home runs.
Look to go to meet the team. That's where I really. Chris Armas, his captain. He looks got like a good corner outfielder.
Check out Matsumura in here. This was one of those international signings, I think, that he actually had him down in AAA most of the year last year developing. He's only a 50-50 overall. He's having a really nice season.
Mm-hmm.
Good personality. I like him. Welcome to the league. Sakan Matsumura. I just like saying the name. I'm not going to lie. Carlos Lozano is having a really nice season as well, the shortstop. He's got 20 home runs, and he plays a pretty good defensive,
Yeah.
or just an average defensive shortstop, but yeah.
You think average?
Not a liability.
Yeah. Yeah, I'd say average. He's got good bars. I don't get it.
You think of Zachary Fast. Rookie Zachary Fast.
Yeah, look at that. 350 average.
Yeah, almost a 400 OBP. Might be Rookie of the Year candidate right here.
Taking the fast track.
Yep. Steve keeps finding these good players. Where did Fast come from? Look at that one.
He's
third round pick in 2003, so good value pick. So yeah, I love the offense. Offense is really good. Obviously, the problem here is the starting pitching. Steve, make the move. Make the move. Find a starting pitcher. I know what you got to do. You're talking to me right now, so actually, I don't even know why I'm telling you this. He's trying to get a starting pitcher for me, and I hopefully you win the bidding because I'm talking to a few people. But yeah, it's a long weekend. If you don't get my guy, find somebody because you can do it. Your offense is really, really good. You just need to get rid of this like Andrew Spear guy who's not working out so far, or one of these guys who's pitched all season long and not working out, maybe.
Yeah.
Like Brent Myers has really struggled. That control, 35 control, he's like almost at 100 walks here. It's tough.
He's got 2 walkouts.
He's 11 and 9. Guys are getting the offensive run support.
Yeah, get that starting pitching going because yeah, his offense is there, but that's where it drops off at the pitching department. So
it looks like he's sacrificing offense too. He's got good offense, but the defense is suffering because he's definitely towards the bottom half in defensive categories.
yeah, let's see that as well.
I'm looking at his fielding stats here. I mean, Zachary Fast isn't the best, having the best season in the field. John Lair at center field has been kind of a liability. He doesn't really have the range to play center field, to be honest. So that could be another upgrade that Steve might look at doing is, improving the team through defense because Lair is not like a big part of the offense. I feel like, or maybe he is. He's hitting 288, 340 on base percentage. I don't know. So yeah, there's opportunities for Steve to make some moves, but I like his team. I think he's
in position to make a really good playoff run. I think he's in, like he said, I think it's his best run yet at making the playoffs this year.
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me though. It could come down to Washington or Montreal. I'm not going to guarantee they're both going to get in, even though I said that, right? Like I feel like it could definitely be one of these, or even two of these teams from the J division somehow sneaking up and in. That's what I meant. Yeah, because Galveston's probably going to make it. So Galveston in Tampa or New York or Atlanta could probably make that run.
Yeah.
So
Anything else on Washington?
no, next team.
It's Philly.
What do you think of Dan's team, Chris?
Oh, I think Dan's team is. I think he knows what he's doing. I think he sold a lot of his pieces. He got rid of Jim Green. He's kind of. He's,
Yeah, I mean his
not a
team's
winning
bad. He's
team.
actually better. He's better than I thought he'd be
Yeah, he's better than I.
this year. I actually thought he was going to be one of the worst teams in the league with his roster, but he's in fourth place in the Sapphire division. All these teams are still kind of like in not competitive mode, and they're in rebuild mode. But yeah, I don't know if there's anything really for
I don't think
for us
he's
to
got
talk about
a
on Dan's team or highlight. He's got some guys that have hit for some
George
power.
Reed. Probably is
Reed
his.
is still the guy. He's still the superstar here, right?
Mm-hmm.
And unlike some of the other starting pitchers who've been around a long time, he hasn't completely fallen off and disappeared. Franklin Rico's not bad either, right? Yep.
No, good old Uncle Rico. Aaron Allen. I mean, all guys. I mean, but if these guys are your top guys, I don't think it's really.
Yeah, I mean Dave Rodriguez is his cleanup guy. And he's having an okay season, but he's not like a superstar or anything great. So
Mm-hmm.
definitely not a super deep team right now. Probably just accumulating minor league assets, hopefully, and thinking about the future. Looking at the front office for Dan's team, he's got really no money on the books right now. He's only got a $68 million payroll. And next year he's going to free up even most of that. Most of it's expiring, so he's really only got George Reed on the books, and that's going to be a player option next year for like 33 million. So
He's probably gonna take it.
I don't know if anything's close here, but anyways, definitely not competing this year. So let's go on to the next team,
Which is Boston.
Boston Jack's team, and another team that hasn't made the playoffs yet, and still not going to make the playoffs this year. His team's really bad. But he's got all the best prospects. That's the takeaway of Jack's team. He started some of them up in the major leagues. I'm glad to see he dropped some of those guys back down. I don't see them in the lineup here. Although Nick Kennedy's now back up, which is good. I think now that we're at the end of the season, just remember he's at 56 days right now in service time, and I think what is it? What did I say? 80 days, I think. 77 or 80 days. I think it's 80 days. So if he accumulates more than 80 days, he's going to get a year of service time. So you might want to drop him down just to make sure he doesn't hit that number, and you can save a year on his time since he did play earlier in the season. That made sense, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Sure.
He's like 24 days away. So, I mean, I feel like we have more than 24 days left in the season. We have like
Or let him play.
40
Just
something.
let him cook.
You could let him play. I mean, it might just be smart to save him at this point. He's not hitting 200.
It's true. It might, man. You do you, Boston. You do you.
I mean, yeah, you do you. This is amazing how little power there is on this team. Only 6 home runs leads the team. 57 home runs on the year. But yeah, this team's not good. Eventually this team is going to turn a corner. I definitely believe that. Just this is not the year,
No, I agree.
and not sure if he has any trade assets to throw. I think it's really just developing pieces that you don't want to get rid of. Ooh, Boyd Perry's up. I haven't looked at this guy. He looks pretty nice. Former 6th overall pick in 2003, having a pretty nice start to his rookie campaign. Maybe struggling a little bit, but I think that probably has to do with who's on the field behind him as well, not just his
Mm-hmm.
ability. So definitely looks like he's ready. So yeah, I'm excited to see what this team's going to be in a couple of years. Because again, we've I'm not going to highlight all the bad teams because this is kind of just like a mid-season podcast. But he's got the number one and the number two prospects in Malik Roach and Matt Clark, and then in his AAA, he's got just like I think some really good pieces still, or somewhere he does. Yeah, Malik Roach is close, man. So not any money locked up per se. He'll be able to build around those really young pieces and be competitive soon.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I think he's got his contract. I think he's starting to work on his contracts a little bit. So
Yeah, for sure. He definitely had some money locked up for a minute there, and he was able to shovel that away.
yeah,
It's pretty smart. Juan Chagoya having a nice season as his closer there, 20 saves. Chagoya.
yeah. Anything else you want on Boston?
I don't see anything. You?
No, no, just another team. It sucks where you're at, but you'll turn the corner eventually. I believe in you.
He's got some exciting pieces though. I think he's,
Yeah,
like I
he's.
said, on the fringe. I like it.
I do too. He's gonna make a move eventually. Move on to New
And the
York.
next team, yeah, we're looking at it's going in the opposite direction, getting rid of everything he can this season in terms of his pieces. He shipped away real early, like I want to say like a sim or two in. He decided it was time to sell and time to start the rebuild, and he's been pretty bad because of it, which is the plan.
Man.
Gary Smith still on the team, can't be moved, no trade clause. Matt had announced he extended him recently, so now he's locked up for 97 million over the next 3 seasons. And as was mentioned, he's going to retire a New York Griffin.
Good for him.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's good. Gotta have
Gary the
that one away.
Griffin. Gary the
Most I gotta
Griffin.
say the most generic name
No, I
ever.
love. Yeah, Gary Smith. Yeah, for sure. I love locking up a player for life though.
Yeah,
I like
only
that.
one team.
Um, yeah, yeah, yeah. Pretty much last in all statistical categories. I don't think he has much to trade left. Alex Lopez is still pretty good. I'm sure. I don't know if he's on an NTC as well. He is, so no trade clause there, but still a nice piece. 33 years old. Having a terrible season, 5-14, but again, that's the team around him as well.
Yeah. Does he got any prospects in line? Or I know he's one of those teams that trade a lot of his picks, but it looks like he's got a few. Nowhere's any close. So
All right, let's look at the last team because I
which is Lehigh.
don't think New York's doing anything this year. Yep, Lehigh's the last team, and Lehigh's struggled for the last couple seasons as well. So his rebuild is hopefully starting to circle around underway. He took the risk on our favorite pitcher in the league, Chris Hanna, and he was duly rewarded with 4 to 5 months injury. Chris Hanna is now at 25-25 overall. So not only
Oh my lord.
is he injured, but he's also completely washed up at this point.
Yeah, he is done.
Fortunately, he's only on the payroll for this season for Lehigh for
Yeah,
a cheap $2 million. But I think we're going to see Chris Hanna retire
I think so
after this
too.
season, and then we're going to name the Pitcher of the Year award after him. The Scrapples are, not a very good team.
Yeah, another one of those teams where it's just like, no, there's nothing on the board other than base running, you know?
No, I mean, again, he's got some pieces that might be attractive to a trade partner here at the deadline, but um, definitely in sell mode and definitely, I don't think very close to competing. He did sign a couple of big contracts this season. Trying to remember who
Jordan
the
Adame is one of
Javon
them.
Cooper and yeah, Jordan Adame. Adame's been not great. He's been okay, and he's definitely dubbed down. It looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's taken a pretty significant dev hit this year, so that's unfortunate.
And
Javon
Javon
Cooper,
Cooper,
kind of the same thing. I mean, I guess his
he's having a
development's
good
the
season.
same as where he was. He is. He's having an okay season. But Dustin Ham, 25 million. That's signing insane for a relief pitcher, but I guess you lock him up with contract one, and then you've got him for maybe year two. Although you give him the player option, so that's better hope he signs for that. He might as a relief pitcher, to be honest. 11 million is pretty good contract for a relief, but definitely won the bidding with 25 million. That's a lot for a closer.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, Lehigh's team not great this year. Hopefully he'll turn the corner again. There's, basically this whole division is really terrible, with the exception of the top three teams.
Yeah. It's a lot like the Ruby.
And yeah, similar to the Ruby, I'd say. Yep.
You wanna
Yeah, what do you think? So I
I think
think obviously Somerville's going to win it. I think you agree.
yeah, Somerville's gonna take it. I think Washington's gonna take second.
I do as well. I think we're both in agreement on that.
I'm only saying
I
that
think
too because after
Montreal,
seeing Montreal getting that big band-aid on their injury report, like I had to scroll down for that.
yeah, yeah.
So that's not a good sign. They're all
If I had
long
to bet, I'd
injuries.
actually say Montreal misses the playoffs.
I would say they missed the playoffs. They could miss the playoffs if we'll take a look. They're definitely. I think they're definitely in third place, fighting for a playoff position. That's for sure.
I think, honestly, I think Boston's going to start to steal some games. They've got those two prospects up now who are going to start to learn their way a little bit, I think, at the major leagues. And they're going to steal some games on the stretch from some teams. I
Yeah.
think you're right. Like the injuries with Tim's team is just, I don't know. I have them missing the playoffs just because I think one of the other two teams, three teams, excuse me, in the J division that we're going to cover is going to just be too much and like sneak up on them. I think it's not going to be round robin. I think one of them gets hot.
Mm-hmm.
So, anyways,
All right. We'll move
and
on
then
to the.
we agree everybody else has no chance, right?
Yeah, everybody else is. Better luck next year,
17 games back or whatever.
or you got to start winning some games
Yeah.
and not
All
lose.
right. Yeah. Let's wrap it up with the J division.
Start off with Las Vegas. The big league, big dogs right now with 77 wins.
Yeah. Las Vegas is good. I think they're the best team in
Yeah, they kicked my
the big
butt
league.
a couple sims ago, I think.
I mean, the offense is flawless. So, so good.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, look at that. Look at all those number ones right there. It's pretty scary. That's pretty scary. And he's got good base running. Jeez.
Yep. I mean, his pitching's top of the league too, fourth in pretty much every category. Um, he's just a well-rounded team. He just signed a pitcher in Jennings, who, if you go to the player rankings page, this is the top 20 pitcher in the league, and he's 25 years old and controllable. So, um, his team is just super, super scary.
He's making
Like
it.
Delgado is 13-3, and he's arguably having maybe one of the worst seasons of the team. or Chris Puente is having. I mean, they're both pitching really well.
Yeah.
Fonseca's wicked good. He's on a really friendly contract. Locked up for only 12.25 per year for 5 years.
Wow.
And his bullpen's really good too. I like a lot of these guys. I mean, he's definitely the deepest team in the league, I think, in terms of roster, rotation, and bullpen, pulling it all together.
Yeah. Yeah,
Sean
I
Hall.
agree. They're a very scary team. I think. Also too. Looking over on the position rankings. You got Cepeda second, Sean Hall third, Verdugo number one.
Yeah.
A lot of blue over there. That's another one of
And Sean
those.
Hall, looking at Hall, he's a rookie. I mean, he's the number 2 prospect in baseball.
Wow.
And this is his rookie campaign. He's tearing it up. He's going to be really good.
So rookie of the year. I knew you say that earlier, but
We've talked about a few guys
yeah.
on the podcast. I don't know. He's definitely a candidate, that's for sure. He'd be the front runner. Verdugo continues to be one of the best in the league. He's obviously cooled off from last season, which was like it's untenable to have the kind of season he had last season over and over again, but he's still on pace for 44 home runs. Like just
Just a
insane.
just an absolute stud of a player.
George England on his basically rookie season as well, right? He only played 60 games last year. It's not qualifiable, so not having the same season that Sean Hall is having, but is just still just like tearing it up. 31 homers, 90 RBIs. My God.
Alejandro Martinez, he's having a decent season, 328. Let's take a look at that real quick. Good 1-2 right there. Yeah, very impressive.
Yep. Even the guys we're not highlighting, like there's no weaknesses here. Marco Cepeda is really good. David Bell's really good. Maybe his only weakness is Alex Cabezas, just because the guy's not hitting right now. He's a good fielder. Plays a really good defensive shortstop, but he's just not hitting. Outside of that, this team is just
You don't need a
rock
hitting
solid.
shortstop.
Did he just add somebody too? Like,
I mean, he's doing
trying to
this all
remember.
without a number 4 hitter too. I mean,
I just talked about the pitcher, but was there someone else? I'm looking at the trade block. Yeah, who's his 4 hitter? What's going on here?
did he just make a trade or something?
What's going on here? I don't know. I don't know what his strategy is not to have a cleanup hitter. Brilliant. So Jim Cox is coming up. No, just kidding. Someone else is bringing up a Cox. Now I gotta look it up. Fred Cox is coming up for Baltimore. Oh, we didn't even cover that. Look at Fred Cox real quick. We just gotta take a rewind.
Cox, he said.
Fred Cox. Pretty sure he's being called up.
Oh boy. Get ready for the big leagues, boy.
Yeah.
There was his look. Back to Vegas.
Look, back to Vegas. Vegas, we have nothing else to look at. Vegas is the best team in baseball.
Yeah.
On to the next one.
Fort Collins.
Gonna get the 1 seed, 9-game lead already. So Fort Collins has been a pleasant surprise this year.
I agree.
Kyle's team. Yeah. I think I mentioned this in the preseason podcast, but he was the team that added the most WAR in the offseason. So he was aggressive in free agency, and it's paid off, which is always nice to see.
He's 6, so I mean he's not. He's middle of the pack. In offense. Is he one of the? He forget. He's a defensive team, right? I want to take a look. Oh, not really.
He's really led the way with his pitching this year.
Look at this guy. You say his
Yeah,
name.
Adam Chick.
Okay, there we go.
Adam Chick looks pretty good.
he does. Sam Hunt.
Guillermo Alonso's having a great season. Huh? My goodness. I don't know how.
Guillermo. Look at Guillermo.
This guy is having a career season. Sometimes like these, it just happens. Like a guy just has a randomly amazing season.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. Just can't.
3.4 R WAR right now.
Yeah, ERA plus at 153.
It's probably gonna suck down the stretch because we highlighted him, but
It's
cool.
it's
His
it's.
bullpen's.
I was
Go
gonna
ahead.
say his lineup isn't really good. It looks like he picked up Diago. He was on my team last year. I'm surprised he's hurt,
Yeah.
but
Finally bit the dust.
no surprise that he's hurt at the end of the season. I tried it one year. Galveston tried it one year. I tried it, and then Fort Collins did too.
40 years old though, and he's finally dubbed down. I
Mr.
think he's.
Clutch, is that his nickname? Mr. Clutch.
Yep, he was really good. He won Pitcher of the Year award that one year. So, but yeah, Lacey's continued to be a rock in this lineup. 20 home runs, 74 RBIs, 334 this season. Torres is having a great rookie season right now for this guy. Kyle, getting a lot out of some of these players. Let me tell you, DHing. I don't know. I don't love his bars. I don't know why he's so good. I guess he's not crazy good, but hitting 360, that's nice.
Yep. Gotta love it. Got to love it.
Limited action. And Jamie Lindahl, this guy's like a real stud. This is his rookie campaign, so this is actually a Rookie of the Year candidate.
Is this his rookie year?
He was a trade with the San Diego Seals back in 2004 and played 40 games last year, struggled, and now he's come up to the big leagues this year full time, and he's been really, really good. Anybody else that you see on this team? His bullpen's kind of good. I kind of mentioned that, but
Yeah, he's got Chris Puckett with 21 saves, Nick Hayden with 5, Josh Winkler.
Hayden's 39 and his ratings have dropped, but he's having a nice season. I do like Winkler a lot. I think Winkler's maybe the future closer on the team.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Puckett, but I don't know. I would start Puckett personally. But again, I'm a bad GM. My advice is terrible.
I agree.
Thanks. Appreciate your support. And honestly, Fort Collins, Kyle's pitching's been one of the best in the league, so shame on me for even suggesting such a thing. Offense has been kind of mid, right?
Yeah.
Slightly above average in certain terms of team rankings, but again, I like his 3.45 right now.
Yeah.
Excuse me, his 2.34.
Yeah, I agree.
What do you think? Next team?
Yeah, I think next team.
So I mean,
Galveston.
3 games behind. Yeah, 3 games behind Kyle. We've got Matt's team, Galveston. What are your thoughts on the Gremlins, Chris?
They were a nasty team last year, weren't they?
They were a 100-game winner, right?
104, 58.
Yep.
Uh, you know,
They were the conference championship.
yeah, they
Conference
lost the Big
champions.
League
They played
championship.
to Louisville. Yep.
They're the first AF conference team to lose it. So
Yeah.
looks like
And they're leading.
their offense is like you know top of the back of the pack. I would say not really the greatest offense right now. I don't think it was. I think they had a better offense last year. Did they lose anybody?
It's like I'm surprised they're ninth in home runs. They've got some guys that hit the ball out of the park, but some of their positions are definitely struggling. Like their catcher definitely can't hit very well.
No.
Defensive catcher, and he's just having a bad year at the plate.
You've got Jeff
Rob
Brown.
Squires is a great defensive center fielder, but he's again not really hitting well from the leadoff spot.
Let's see, take a look. Jeff Brown is probably his top player. 26. He's not fully developed. I don't
Jeff
like
Brown was
the
the guy that kind of carried them in the postseason last year.
I don't like how his contact and gap power is only 45.
If you look, Jeff Brown last year won two different MVP series. He was the
Yes, he
wild card
did.
MVP and the divisional
I was
championship
gonna say,
series
yeah.
MVP.
Wasn't he? Was he the one that was the pinch hitter? Or I can't remember. There's one.
No, I forget who that. Rafael Cervantes, I think.
Yeah, there's one guy. Yeah, this guy.
Somebody was pinch hit home running, yeah, like twice, right?
Yeah, I can't remember.
That's crazy. I think it's Cervantes.
He was a Rule 5
Um,
draft pick too, by from Washington. That's crazy. Never seen that. First one I've seen.
oh, it wasn't Cervantes. Oh no, I'm on the wrong guy. Um, yeah, two home runs and five plate appearances, four hits in five at bats in the postseason for Rafael Cervantes, 25 years old. But yeah, no, Matt's put together another nice team, and his pitching leads the way. Like we just kind of highlighted, Eric Ryan is really good, and he's been really good every single year he's been in the league. Miguel Lugo, same thing. I mean, these guys have just been as consistent can be. For three straight seasons for Galveston, this has been his MO. His four starter, kind of concerning. Luis Suarez doesn't look great to me, and he's not pitching great.
No, he's not. But it might be a. Who knows?
Yeah, so if Galveston's looking to add at the deadline, he might need some pitching depth. Well, I mean, again, he's got the best pitching in the league, but I don't know. Juarez might need to replace.
Yeah.
And yeah, I mean, yeah, the offense not hitting for average, not hitting, getting on base a ton. You're right, pretty mid, right?
His base running's the best.
Yes, another
Pitching.
base running whiz.
So now we
We
know
must ask him.
he knows the answers to base running. He's the only winning
Yeah,
team I've seen with good base running.
I
So.
hope, I hope Galveston wins the championship. I'm putting it down right now, so I can championship interview him about base running.
Interesting theory.
Yeah. Let's look at the next team. What
Tampa.
do you think?
You know,
Tampa.
I think they're a good team. I think they're definitely in the run. You know, they're leading the league in wild cards, so I think they're
Yeah.
I think they're a lock to make the playoffs.
There's a pretty
It's
big gap between Galveston and Tampa, New Orleans, Atlanta, right?
yeah,
So
it's definitely a
I mean,
3-3.
we've seen collapses that big, but
Yeah,
I like Galveston with their track record too.
yeah. I think they could have a chance at overtaking Fort Collins, but Fort Collins is the funniest team to me. I like it, but it's I can see it struggling at times
I
too.
could, oh no, I could see Galveston getting the two seed over Fort Collins only because of how dominant Galveston's pitching is. Like they could easily go on the run.
Yeah, exactly.
Fort Collins is good and has improved a lot, but they've been on the out, and just getting in is an accomplishment.
Yeah, exactly.
But I'm always wrong about Fort Collins. We'll see. We'll see.
Take a look at Tampa now.
Tampa, Dick, he had a terrible season last year, one of the worst in
I want to
the
say
Ice Conference, and this year he's bounced back.
he had a
What do you
really
think of
bad
Dick?
He had a really bad year last year. Didn't he have a player too that was just regressed to nothing? A pitcher that he signed. What was his name? I can't remember.
Oh, yeah. No, that's talking about. I don't know if he's still in the lineup.
I don't see him.
I don't see him. So it looks like he took care of that, which I appreciate. I think I called that out in the podcast that that pitcher wasn't good for his health. So I don't know if he's still on the salaries page or if he's been cut. Chris Carmody. Where is the man? Is he in the bullpen?
I didn't see him.
I don't know. Maybe he's injured.
Chris Carmody, he's in the big leagues.
He's
Look
on
at
the injured
that.
list.
Oh,
So,
25 over 25. I don't think he's not injured.
yeah. No, he's on the injured list though. He just hasn't been. He probably just came off the injured
Oh,
list.
yeah, he's probably coming off. Yeah, okay. Ooh, he
Yeah.
took a
So
major dev hit. You know, it's crazy too. I think I was in a bidding war with him for that guy. I'm glad I lost.
we've seen looking at a bunch of these teams, a bunch of pitchers have taken dev hits.
Yeah.
So been something that's happened to some of the early pitchers. I like Ron Blackwell here. This guy is a rookie, and he looks really, really good. The number 4 hitter. He's on pace for
Tsunami.
6 WAR.
Get those
Yep,
avoid K's
Tsunami.
can get out of that up, get up. You know, he's a great hitter.
This is Ben Blackwell's younger brother. He's looking like he's gonna have a killer season this year. Yeah, Matt Purdy's having a nice season too, almost at 30 home runs. So like his 3-4 has been solid. Like one of the more powerful 3-4 combos in the league right
Yeah.
now.
We'll say, you know, another rookie of the year conduct.
Ortiz and Manny.
Because you got Matt
Hitting
Purdy.
bombs. Yeah.
Wow, look at that. Another guy though, he struggles with Ks. Struggles with strikeouts. 165 in 2005. That's a lot. That's a lot of strikeouts.
He's bounced back though, 58, 56. He can make a run down the stretch.
Yeah.
I think as any of those 3 teams could. He made a run to be in this position because he looked like he was starting to fade, and then he won like 7 or 8 in a row. So
Yeah,
yeah,
he's in a tough position. He's got to really start winning in order to, you know, get there because he's definitely 7 games back behind Galveston. So
one of these 3 teams that we're going to look at are going to need to do some sweeping once they get it to divisional play, and that could give them a chance.
yeah.
Any other thoughts on Tampa's team?
No, I think he's having a good run right now, but I don't know.
Yeah.
Got to win to keep that hope alive, I guess.
Well, he's 1 win away from his total last year, so it's been a successful season. We'll see how
Yeah,
he finishes up.
exactly. Good point. Good point there.
Yeah. All right, let's look at Noah's team, the New Orleans Mudcats.
What a slide they took from a 100-win season down to already 58 and 56, fighting to be
Yeah,
500
and
right now.
what's crazy, I mean, it's definitely the pitching for this team. If you look at the
Are you sure
offensive
it's not
categories, they aren't too bad.
Is it not the team chemistry? Let's see how it is. I mean, they're unhappy.
They're unhappy, but it's not the
I mean,
worst.
they do got two
He's
a
had some
captain.
pretty bad chemistry teams, and they've made the playoffs.
Yeah.
So that's not what
We
it's
always
all
like to
about.
pick on them about
I Yeah, for sure. How many bad disruptive players he has. Yeah.
yeah.
I think it's tough though. Like when your team is struggling, it can like snowball and make it worse. And
Yeah, I think so
but
too.
he's on the edge. He could make the playoffs still. His pitching's really bad, and I think it's so bad that there's not like anything you can do at the deadline to like
I
really,
don't.
really
It's
improve
not the
it.
worst, but it's definitely it's definitely at the wrong end of. Yeah, it's not that good.
I mean, he did just bring in Josh Carter, I feel like, here at the deadline. So that is an attempt to improve his pitching. He brought in Plinio Lerfield. So he's made some adjustments. Where's Lerfield? Hopefully not injured already. Plinio Lerfield's in the bullpen right now. So he's tried to make some efforts to tamper down how bad his pitching is. So that's smart. Because his offense is, even though third in most statistical categories, one of the best in baseball because he's got the best hitter, in my opinion, in all of baseball. Yeah, that's BJ Swart.
He's
Former
projected to
1-1 from
10 more.
2002, and this guy can make contact, and when he does, it goes very far.
Yeah, 47 homers already. On pace for
I'm
67. Wow.
I think I'm overstating him. I don't think he's the best hitter in baseball, but he's top 5.
Yeah.
Look at that, like 3 straight seasons with 40 plus homers.
Jeez. Just mashes the
I mean,
ball.
he's on pace for 67 right now.
You want to know why? I think we got the answer on this page. He trains hard.
Work ethic. He sure does. BJ trained hard.
BJ trains hard.
Yeah, he has a high work ethic. The guy's always in the batting cage. And you know what? Steve Miller, that disruptive motherfucker, is just watching. And he's like, actually, if you look at Steve Miller now, no longer disruptive because he's watched BJ Swart working hard in the cage.
He did lose it, didn't he?
Yeah. I mean, he's still
He
short in effort,
he
but he sees.
he had a good tour, I guess, on his band, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Anything else on New Orleans?
I mean, again, Steve Miller's really good. Aaron Smith's really good. Joe McClurkin, he's got a good offense. Marcelo Bland, we should probably mention the former MVP who makes the All-Star team every year and wins Platinum Stick every year, and is disruptive. He has not been changed by BJ Swart,
No, he hasn't been
but
watching
he's
BJ.
also not well liked by. If you look at Bland, he's not well liked by his teammates.
No, people are like,
Marcelo, oh, go ahead. Sorry.
like, yeah, he's a dick, but he can hit.
He's a
So
dick, yeah. Marcelo Bland's the type of guy where you get the email in the game after you cut him, where it's like everybody in the clubhouse was really relieved that Marcelo Bland's no longer part of the clubhouse.
yeah,
Uh, anyways, yeah, no, New Orleans can make a run. We've seen this team
looks like
literally
he's
run
got
off
it hit with the injury bug
20
as
straight
well.
wins.
He's lost
Yeah,
a lot of pitching due to it. I mean, he's got some pitching coming back here soon. I mean, Gary Ward
you're right.
probably. It. Yeah.
It's been part of the depth problem for sure. I think he came into the season a little short on pitching already, but this has definitely contributed to that.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that.
The thing that's scary for New Orleans, he's got Marcelo Bland locked up for like 3 seasons. And that's not the guy you want locked up. You got some guys that are coming up that you want locked up. When does he have to start addressing the BJ Swart situation? Probably not for a minute.
Yeah, probably not for. I don't
Yeah.
think for another couple of years, but
Yeah.
he's gonna get really expensive. So
Yeah. Yes.
that I
BJ
do
Swart's
know.
already getting 10 million, so he actually is really close to having to address that. He's going to be 20 million arbitration next year.
Yep.
So, anyways, not sure what New Orleans is going to look like over the next 2 seasons, but this might be their chance to still get in.
Yep.
Atlanta,
Atlanta. We're getting down to the home stretch, yeah.
hot Atlanta. Yeah, we're almost there, man. Long pod. Atlanta here, the only team to never miss the playoffs. Is this the year? Is this the year?
Is this the year Atlanta
Am I rooting
misses the
against the guy
playoff?
that knocked me out of the championship? No, I would never do that.
The only
Jason,
back-to-back champion?
two-time EBL champion. No, I, uh, I hope Jason makes the playoffs. I'm just messing around, to be honest, um, because his window's closing. He's got like a deep team, but
Yeah, wow. It's
he's
kind
older
of
than everybody else.
it's kind of crazy. He's like only 500 this year with his team. He's got like a lot of blue over there in the team position rankings. So it's tough to see that, but it looks like they're not producing offensively.
Yeah,
And his pitching
his
is
pitching's been
terrible as well.
kind of mid. Yeah, he's just his team's been very average this year. He got off to a super slow start, right? I think he was kind of like New York. I think he was like something ridiculously bad, like 14 games under 500 or something. And he's slowly climbed out of that. He got a couple games above 500, and then he's been hovering ever since. I think, honestly though, if I'm taking a pick of these three teams that are left, I'm picking Atlanta to make a run and make the playoffs.
You're crazy. You're crazy, man.
You think so? Why? I mean,
I
he's
don't know.
one
I'm
game
just
back
I
of
just
his
wanted
other
to say
team.
it. I just wanted to say it.
I said it if I'm picking one of the three. Who would you pick of these three?
Uh,
You
from
have to pick one.
Tampa, New Orleans, and Atlanta to make a
This is
run.
basically saying they're going to pass Montreal in the Sapphire.
New Orleans.
They're only 4 games back.
I'm gonna say New Orleans.
New Orleans, yeah, that's not a bad bet. All right.
I'm
Anyways,
talking
this
hard
team
here.
10 to 25 home runs from everybody 1 through 7. So consistency up and down the lineup.
Yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
Well,
Window's closing. We'll see if they can make that run at the end, right?
yeah. We'll see. We shall
Last
see.
team. Last team.
Yeah, last team, Denver.
Oh, we didn't even about one thing quickly. Galveston fucking adding Omar Gonzalez.
Oh yeah, we forgot about that.
Yeah, we did. Omar Gonzalez and Eduardo Alberto, and that's just gonna very much improve his team down the stretch. So I mean, I think we both picked him to pass Fort Collins,
Yeah, I think we did
anyways.
without
But
even mentioning that. So that really solidifies my
yeah, I mean that's instantly the most powerful hitter in his lineup.
yeah.
He'll slide right into the 4 spot, so that's a huge pickup for Galveston. Anyways, on to Denver, last team here. What are your thoughts?
Who he just lost Ricardo Iguarno, so let's not even think about him because he is a Huron Heron right now. Right? Huron Herons?
Yeah,
I can't remember. I don't know.
yep,
It's just
yep.
too.
Anguiano has moved on to the Herons. Jays shipped him out for a ton of assets. He got a really good return on him.
He shipped out Jennings
Daniel
as well.
Jennings, he shipped out, yep, to Las Vegas, the division rival. I actually didn't like his return on Jennings as much. I thought he probably could have gotten more from somebody else if he was patient there. Um,
But he definitely got
but
a
hey,
haul
everybody,
for Ricardo, so.
I was going to say everybody has different scouting reports on players, so he's probably seeing something different than what I'm seeing.
Hmm.
Um, Hector Campos is no trade clause, and he's the best player left on this team. He's locked up though, unfortunately. And I don't know. I'm sure that Jay's going to be creative here. He's one of the top 3 most active traders in the league, I would say. So I wouldn't be surprised if he ships off more guys here at the deadline to bring in more assets because he's clearly looking to continue to kick the can down the road for Denver. Unfortunately, um, this team has been cursed since the beginning, and they still haven't made the playoffs, and they're not going to do it this year. And it looks like with selling off a lot of pieces, they may not be doing it for the next few years.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, agree. There's nothing to agree about it. They're definitely, yeah. If they're trading off everything, they're going to struggle. But I mean, they have some pieces. I mean, if they want to try and win, I guess. I don't know. I don't know if they have any upcoming. Would they have any upcoming prospects?
Well, they've got a lot of people locked into long contracts, so it's all going to depend on what they can do in terms of flipping, um, getting rid of some of these bad contracts. That's why I think that they're probably going to be rebuilding for the next year or two. Like Hector Campos is obviously locked up in a no trade clause. So I guess he could technically try to build around him with the rest of his window, but Randy Scott may opt into that player option next year. He's owed 20 million and he's fallen off at 39 years old.
Mm-hmm.
Ruben Nunez is not looking great as a left fielder anymore. He had a really, really bad partial season this season, and he's owed $21 million a year for the next 3 years.
Oh boy.
So there's a couple bad contracts on this team that he's going to have to figure out how to work around if he's going to want to be competitive. But I think again, when he's pulling in so many assets like Carolina just did, he's looking to basically, you know, hit the reset button.
Yeah.
But Jay will tell us his plan, I'm sure. He's again super active in terms of moving his assets around, and maybe this rebuild's a lot quicker than I am anticipating. So we'll see. And he is only just what is he, 8 games back? We've seen teams make runs from further back at this point in the season. So I could be just blowing smoke out my ass, and he could sell off a bunch of assets, and then all his team, everybody left on the team could go all kumbaya and go on like some weird hot streak and make the playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, Cremamos, not a bad piece.
Yeah. 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 I forgot. Saw that just barely. Famous Amos.
It's on the block, I believe. No trade clause, or not does not have a no trade clause. Excuse me. But, all
Yeah.
right, what do you think, Chris?
I think we're
What do
at
you
the
think of the
end.
J division? We are.
J division. I think. Well, I think Las Vegas has got this locked up, just like Somerville has themselves locked up. Yeah, I think Galveston's got second for sure. Fort Collins is going to be in third place.
I agree
Uh,
with all that.
and I think it's going to be. I think it's going to be Somerville, Washington, Montreal, and the two. Yeah, Somerville and Washington first and second. Las Vegas, Galveston first and second, and Fort Collins and Washington are going to be the two wild cards.
Okay, I like it. I kind of differentiating a little bit. I mentioned Montreal's going to miss. I think it's going to be um, everything you said about the J the same. Las Vegas, Galveston, Fort Collins, and then I think it's going to be Atlanta. I'm going to give Atlanta my kiss of death. You're going to make a run
Oh man,
endorsement.
you did. You did it on
I've
purpose,
only been
didn't you?
wrong 50. That's not true. I didn't. I've only been wrong 50% of the time. I've actually had
Fifty
I've been the
percent of the
preseason
time, I've been
prediction
right every time.
50% of the time. I'm right 100% of the time. Yeah, exactly. Thank you for understanding me. I appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Um, all right, it's been a long review, but it's always fun to talk about the league.
Yeah.
Anything else before we wrap this thing up, Chris?
No,
What do
just
you think?
good luck, everybody. Unless you're playing me, I hope you lose.
Yeah, and again, the playoffs this year will be a little more quiet. We're just gonna live stream them like usual, but probably no commentary since I'm going
Yeah,
to be on vacation.
I'll
Um,
be on vacation as well, and I will.
maybe I'll do commentary if I have a moment for like one of the rounds, but for the most part, I probably won't be around. So
Yeah,
uh,
I will be
yeah, it was fun, dude.
away from a computer, so
You
I
have
won't be
fun
able to.
golfing in South Carolina.
Oh, I'm going to get some
It's gonna
warm
be pretty
weather in
dope.
me.
Yeah, I'm going down to Florida to visit the parents who live down there. So
Fun, fun.
should be
Well,
good.
good luck, everybody, on the rest of the season. Good luck to everybody. Have a great night. Got anything else, Paul?
Nope. You're the best, Chris. Have a great night.
I know. Thank you. Bye, guys.